Hello you plonkers and welcome back to a different sort of video on the Drewzy channel. It's not often I sit down to talk about the Dockers, but I thought today I would, because I think I've got quite a few Dockers subs. Obviously I'm a Dockers supporter, so I think the plonkers like to see me talk about the Dockers. In this video I just wanted to talk about the next couple weeks coming up as a Freo fan. We've got Port Adelaide and the Western Bulldogs. Now on paper you'd say they're going to pump us both, and I would agree, but this next 2 weeks could potentially define our season, I think. The start to the season that the Dockers had was very promising. With the first game of the season, we obviously lost to the Melbourne Demons. No shame in that, they're top of the ladder, you beauty. But after that, we beat the Giants, who have been in hot form ever since. We went over to Carlton and got belted, and that's when it was like, alright, is this just going to be another one of those seasons? We bounce back, we come home, we beat Hawthorn convincingly, even though we didn't kick straight. Go away to Adelaide, another win. The wins are starting to mount. Come home, belt North Melbourne. I mean, I know these aren't the best sides, but hear me out. We come back the next week. We play against West Coast, who, again, haven't been in the best form, but over the years we haven't been able to compete with West Coast. That first half performance against West Coast was probably the best Freo performance I've seen in the last 3 years. But it was only a half, because then we got bent over like a bloody drumstick and smacked by the West Coast Eagles, which is not ideal. And that night, I cried myself to sleep. Ever since halftime in that derby, it's been downhill. We got dicked for the rest of that game. We go over to Brisbane, and we played okay against Brisbane. They're obviously a good side, but I just wanted to see more. I wanted to see a true game plan being implemented. But it just looked like 18 blokes running around on a field doing fuck all. And we lost that game as well. Then COVID struck Perth again. Freo were out of the state. They stayed out of the state and went down and played Essendon at Marvel. This was the most frustrating result of the season. We should be much better than Essendon. We've got a lot more talent than Essendon, and we lost. But that brings us to last week. We come home, we play Sydney, who have beaten Richmond away. They've beaten Brisbane away. So these aren't any schmucks, right? And Freo did a business on them. Didn't matter that Buddy kicked 6. We won. And now it's like, alright, so are we back in the finals mix? Because we're only 9th. We're tied 8th. We're still in that mix, and that's why these next 2 games can define the Dockers season. Being a Dockers fan, it's like chasing a girl that you like, you know? The more you get into them, the more they'll let you down. They'll probably give you the cold shoulder and be like, piss off, and go lose to Brisbane and go hang out with her mate Derek. But you come away from them and you have no faith in them, and then they beat Sydney and then they want to hang out with you again. So it's sort of like that scenario, I feel like. So can the Dockers pull this week? Is the question I'm asking. We've got Port Adelaide away, so if we can win, I mean, the date's secured, lads. We're happy days. We've beaten the top 8 side, but we haven't beaten any great sides, really, other than Sydney. But no one really knows where Sydney sit at the moment. It's hard to tell if they're a young side who have got just some fluky wins. I don't think it is, though. They beat Geelong as well. Completely forgot that they beat Geelong. So if we can beat a side that's beaten Brisbane, Richmond and Geelong, surely that means that Freo are a good side. That's what goes on in my head. That, I don't know. People that support other teams just, I don't know, think Freo will just do shit just because they always have been. But it feels like we're on the brink of something, the Dockers. We just need a click. These next 2 weeks are a huge opportunity for that. At the end of the day, these are better sides than us. But at the end of the next day, it's 18 versus 18 on the field. 22 versus 22 if you count the bench. Whatever. Our back line has been very good with the absence of Alex Pearce and Joel Hanley. Griffin Logue has been frustrating, but he can match up on big defenders. Brendan Cox, he's been our best defender. He has arguably been an All-Australian defender this year. Absolute unit. Takes so many intercept marks in big packs. He will be an all-time great Docker. Brendan Cox, calling it now. Luke Ryan as well, All-Australian. I mean, this backline isn't to be sniffed at, to be sneezed at, or to be coughed at. So I think we match up well against Port Adelaide, to be honest, in the forward and back line aspect. But our forward line, alright, that's where we need to start making things happen. Again, Rory Lobb comes to Optus Stadium and does our business. Of course he does. He's like 6'11", but sometimes he just doesn't run. We know he has the talent. He's put in performances like he did against Sydney where he can kick 4 goals and just absolutely dominate that forward line, but he just doesn't do it enough. We just need consistency from Rory Lobb. Matt Tabner has stepped up massively. He was, until last week, the only goal scorer other than Aaron Norton to kick multiple goals since the start of last season, I believe, except for 1 game. So he's been in great form. He's been really consistent for 2 goals. We need him kicking 3 or 4, but if Lobb can lift, that's all we need. We've also got small forwards that can do the job now. Sam Switkowski, he's a great player. He'll be in the Docker side for a while. Same as Lockie Schultz. These are players that can play a role. These are 2 forward pocketers. You slot them in. Lob. Taberner. You can chuck in a Frederick when he gets back, or I don't know, even a Michael Walters. I'm forgetting Michael Walters, and a Trav Collier, and that's your forward line. Bang, just fucking click, and it will go well. Our midfield, I mean, David Mundy's having the best year of his career. The bloke's about 76. Nathan Fyfe is a Brownlow medalist. Andrew Brayshaw, absolute engine. Caleb Sarong, rising star. Adam Chera, silky smooth. WA, Scott Pendlebury. I mean, this list needs to fucking just work. Why doesn't it work? Play with some passion, some integrity. I'm not saying if we lose on the weekend, it's the end of our season. But can we please just show up and put in a 4-quarter effort against a good side? That's all I want to see. If we can get a win this week away at Port Adelaide, not many sides do that, except the top sides. But it's a great opportunity for us. Come on, boys. We show up at home. We beat good sides at home. The Bulldogs are the best team in the comp. And again, I just want to see us give it to them. I just want to see the Dockers actually show up and make it tough for these great sides that are going to be in the finals mix. And if we can do that, if we can nick a result, we're in the 8. We are right in that fringe mix on the 8. And obviously we're not going to win a premiership this year, but fuck, it would be a very big improvement on the years previous where we haven't even been a sniff at the top 8. This is a great opportunity for the boys to lift. A game away to Port Adelaide, who haven't been in great form, coming off the back of a big win against Sydney. There's no better time to beat the Power. There's no better time to play them. But we need to be firing on all cylinders. You can't have off quarters or off 10 minutes against teams like this, because that's when they punish you. That's when they'll kick 3 or 4 goals, and then the younger players get all demoralised and that. We need to lift this week against the Power, and we need to carry the momentum from the win against Sydney through for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Look, we've lost to the Eagles, we've lost to Essendon, we've lost to the Brisbane Lions. Let's just forget about those. In the past, we've learned our lessons from those games, and we show that we learned those lessons against Sydney. The point I'm trying to make is this is a great opportunity, a great measuring stick to see where the Dockers are at, and all I can ask for is take it to these teams and be competitive. Be there when there's 5 minutes left in the last quarter, and it's our game to win. But maybe I'm just getting ahead of myself, and Dockers are always just going to be a shite side that just sit in 13th and like have all these good players that are sick at home and no one really cares about them because we're not in the final mix. But I just want it to change. I just want my football team to start winning good games like they did on the weekend, but just do that consistently. But anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about. So if you enjoyed this sort of video, drop a like, drop a sub, and comment turnip, like turning a nipple. Thanks for all the support recently. It's been very good. I will be streaming a couple games on the weekend. I'm not sure if I'll be streaming the Dockers versus Port Adelaide game, but maybe I will. So keep an eye out on my Instagram @_Drewzy and @DrewFooty_. Those are my 2 Instagrams. I'll pop them up on the screen. Have a good day, eat healthy, sleep well, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.